All right. Uh, it's good to be back, and after a month and a half, I'm back with a video, and I'll try to make this a quick one. As you can see, the topic I'm not going to get into this why I was away and stuff. I'll tell all of that in the caption or on a few stories. So we'll just discuss about a few simple content writing formulas because I feel content writing is the best way to get started as a digital marketer or as an entrepreneur because you need to be improving your communications. So the three formulas we'll be discussing are PAS, AIDA, and PSM. So PAS obviously, as you can see, stands for problem, agitate, and solution. AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. PSM stands for point, story, metaphor. I'll come to AIDA in the end because I have actually written an article after about, I guess, 2.5 years, like a proper piece of content that has been published on the official blog of Brand Grapher using this formula. So in the end, I'm going to give you guys the link to it so that you can check it out and you can basically match the different elements inside the article with the elements of AIDA. So yeah, let's start with PAS first. So PAS formula is something that you can actually use when you're writing emails, when you're writing short articles, or let's say you have posted something where you're solving a problem on your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, and the descriptions or the captions can be written in this format. So the first thing, obviously, is talking about the problem. Highlight the biggest problem your customer is facing, followed by going into the details and making them feel the wound. That's what agitate means, right? So you basically let them know how bad it can be for them if they let the problem stay in their lives, and how bad can their future be. Then you get into solution, that is position yourself as an instant fix provider to drive them into your lead magnet. And obviously the lead magnet here means the thing that you're providing as a solution. It can be a piece of advice, it can be a digital product like an ebook, or a video where you're driving in traffic using ads and stuff. Yes, you can obviously use this format in while writing ads and all as well, but usually PAS is used in writing emails and short captions. So yeah, that's the first one, PAS. Moving on to PSM, the point, story, metaphor format. This I have actually borrowed from one of the biggest legendary marketers in the world, Frank Kern, and I had actually made a post where I had discussed about four books that I recommend every marketer or digital entrepreneur should read. And there was a book, if you guys remember, known as Convert 2.0, and that was actually written by Frank Kern himself. So this is his formula, and I'm going to give you an example because this might seem a little complex, but I'll explain this with an example so that you guys can have a simple idea about it. So first you start with a point. So start by displaying the exact reason you want them to read your copy, you want them to read your content. And this is also a format that you can use while doing speaking gigs and stuff, or while doing direct selling and anything. And obviously this format can also be used in captions. Start by displaying the exact reason you want them to read this. Okay, so let's start with an example. Let's say you are my customer, and this is just an example. This does not apply directly to business, but yeah, you will get an idea after I'm done explaining it. The first thing is you make the point. Let's say you're having a very, and I'm someone hated you, and I bump into you, and I directly tell you that, hey, you know what? I know how it feels like to have a bad day. And you obviously, the first reaction that one would give at a point like that is being shocked and stuff, and wanting to know more. One might even have an aggressive reaction to that, like, how do you know, and why would I listen to you and stuff. And that is where you get to the story, where you use emotionally appealing phrasing and tell them a story in a conversational tone, like you are just trying to help them out, you're just being there for them, and you link back to the headline, or you basically make the whole scenario relatable. Like they should feel that anything you're talking about is relatable to them, and that you actually know what you're talking about. So let's say, after I've told you, see, like, I know how it feels like to have a bad day, I then talk about, I once had a bad day, and I once had XYZ going on in my life and everything. And some people who looked at me said that my shoulders were pointing down and stuff. And that is when I realized that, shoulders pointing down means someone is having a bad day. And that's how I observed your posture, and I could make out that you are actually not having a very good day. So that is how you tell a story when it comes to this format, to sound relatable and to build the trust for them to listen to more of what you say. And that is when you come up with the metaphor, or when you come up with an analogy. So in this case, like going back to the example, if I'll tell you that as they say, if you hold on to a glass of water for longer than needed, your arm will start to have an ache. So I just asked a few questions to myself about what those problems can do to me in the future, how, like what part of those problems are not in my control, and where can I improve. And after that, I let go of my glass of water and didn't feel heavy anymore. So you in the end use a metaphor or an analogy to give them like a shoulder to rest on and stuff. And this is actually a formula that works very, very well if you're trying to build awareness about your brand, about your personal brand, or you're basically trying to get them to take the first step in the funnel, because this builds trust very effectively. So yeah, that's a good formula you can use as well. Finally, coming into AIDA, that is attention, interest, desire, action. This is possibly the simplest formula you can find when it comes to starting off with content writing. And every beginner should actually start with this content. As I mentioned, after about 2.5 years, I used this formula to write the first blog article on the official blog. I'll put a link to that on the bio on my Instagram account. So you guys can go and check out the blog and see what part of the blog am I trying to drive attention, then how am I driving interest, and then desire, and then action. So let me tell you exactly how, like what steps I follow inside these elements. So first, attention is like this is like it's a metric that was shared by Ogilvy and Mather. It's actually one of the biggest ad agencies in the world, that 80% of the people will only read your headline. So attention, if you want to catch someone's attention and retain it, the first step obviously is to give them a headline which has the biggest value you're providing in the whole piece of content. And it should have been frontlined. Okay, like let's say you are talking about growing a digital brand using LinkedIn. So you should clearly be mentioning in your short headline what exactly you're trying to provide as a value inside the article, or inside the piece of content. Okay, and then you move on to a catchy first paragraph that actually follows the headline quite well. It should be building a smooth bridge between the headline and the first paragraph. What it does is it makes sure that anyone who has moved forward after reading the headline stays in the article and moves even further. And that's when you get into the phase of interest, by giving the readers a why to read the article, and by creating a fear of missing out if they do not read the article in full, is how you actually retain their attention after capturing it. So you need to be talking about how this can really help them, or why they should read it, and also know what are the consequences if in case they miss out on this article, what could be the consequences for them or their brand. Then we come to the part where we talk about desire. So desire is the part, like this is the main body of your article, or the main body of your content. You explain the topic in a simple manner, you retain their attention by maintaining a smooth flow. So here you will have to use a few tactics like writing in bullet points, writing in shorter sentencing paragraphs more effectively and stuff, because until this point you have effectively captured their attention and retained it. Here is actually deliver the value you've been talking about. And ultimately you come to the point where you ask them to take an action. CTA stands for call to action, so you need to have a clear call to action in the end, and it should ideally contain an internal link. So what I mean by that is the action that you ask them to take when you're for like following the AIDA formula should be linking to one of your products, one of your other pieces of content, or one of your social profiles or something like that. So it's like if you do not have a product, or it's like you are just writing a blog article like the one that I just shared. In this one, I linked back to my own website where I mentioned if you want to, know more about our services and mentorships and trainings, you can go into brandgrapher.com. So yes, if you do not have a product and stuff, you can link back to other articles, you can link back to your homepage of the website, or if you're just willing to build social following by leveraging content writing, then you can just link it back to your social profiles or the network profiles like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything you are the most active on. So yeah, that was, I guess, a quick video about the three simple formulas that I use in my, you know, when I'm writing content. And the one thing that I can do for you guys here is I'll take a PDF or a photograph out of this whole mind map. And if you guys want access to this mind map, just send me a DM and I'll send you the document, or I'll send you the piece with the mind map. Apart from that, go ahead and check out the blog article. The link will be in the bio. And if you find out the elements and you find it interesting, once you match the elements of the article with the AIDA formula, if you find it interesting, do give me a DM talking about your feedback and how you felt about the article. Most importantly, go ahead and start executing. Content writing is the best thing to get started with, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or you're a digital marketer, or even if you want to become a working professional or an employee in the future. Developing written communication, especially if you can write from the perspective of a business and understand customer value journeys and write according to that, it's going to help your career immensely. So follow these three formulas and check out the article. I'll see you with another video very soon.